be in that room listening to what was going on, but I think I would have preferred to be perhaps one of the clerks that just wrote stuff down and watched than being in the middle of it. But I would have loved to have seen what those debates would have been like. And other people in history, I think that I would love to have met Abraham Lincoln. And a lot of people say that because, you know, Lincoln's always the best president. But I just think that he's fascinating. I mean, he was a madman. I mean, he had severe psychological problems. He had a very odd marriage, an odd background. He was an odd duck. He was an odd person. He did these extraordinary things, and he was able to endure such extraordinary challenges. And I would like to know what he was really like.
Well, talking about history is really good, and talking about what we were just saying is good because it gets me into the final question I have tonight. Well, I may have one more after this.
Okay, okay.
Because you've got a fundraiser going on here tonight, and really this is the final one I want to talk about right here that I want you to address the audience on, is what issues confronting New London right now are the most that concern you, and why?
I think there are certainly a number, and at the top of the list has to be our education system, because that is a systemic problem that did not arrive overnight, and it is not something that we are going to get our way out of easily. The quality of education in London is not where we need it to be providing our children with a good start in life. We are reading even now about ADA problems that the school is having and how they may lose millions of dollars because of their ADA problems. We have problems in attracting and retaining good teachers in our district and good administrators in our district. We have problems throughout our community in terms of attracting businesses to the community because people do not want to relocate to New London because they worry about putting their children in the school system and so on and so forth. So in order to really address all the other issues in our community, we have to start with our education system. And that also goes to the second issue that I see really confronting us is a rising tide of violence in our society here in New London. And that starts to some extent with the school system, but it's also a law enforcement issue, and it's obviously in the short term a law enforcement issue. And we need to be looking at enhanced law enforcement methodologies and modern law enforcement methodologies, some of which have already been instituted by the new police chief, and I support those reforms and support her leadership. And I believe that addressing that problem is critical. And then, of course, beyond the issues of education and juvenile violence and violence in general, we have the issue of economic development. We are coming off of an economic development strategy that has failed. Eminent domain and Fort Trumbull and Pfizer and all of that gave the city nothing. And we need to look forward now and try to formulate a new strategy for economic growth that I believe can be based on a small business approach, which is more diversified, more economically sustainable, that most importantly creates jobs for New Londoners, which is the critical element of any economic development strategy. Should not be just what this strategy is going to do for our tax base. It should be how do we get jobs for our people. Because if you get jobs for people in New London, that's the greatest thing you can do. And also growing green technologies in the city, which allows us to invest in the jobs of the future, the jobs that we know are going to be here for a while, and invest in companies that are more community connected, that don't just issue pink slips as quickly or up and leave when tax abatements run out the way other companies have done to New London, and provide as well for our long-term resource needs, our long-term water needs, our long-term energy needs, which is something that doesn't get discussed very often, but in 25, 50 years is going to be at crisis levels here in New London. So those are some of the issues, and there are many, many more. And what I would tell your listeners is that I have released a pretty detailed plan for what I believe is the approach. It's called A Vision for New London. It's on my website, which is finizioformayor.com. We're also on Facebook as Finizio for Mayor, so those who have computer access can check it out there. But those who do not are free to contact the campaign by mail or by phone. My phone is 860-941-8112. People can call me and I will get them a hard copy if they don't have a computer. And we're also preparing a Spanish language translation. We had an earlier one. I wasn't happy with the quality of it, so I'm having it redone, and that should be out within the week so that everyone can hear what my ideas are. Because as you know, it's hard sometimes to get it in 5 minutes or less.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
But we are trying as much as possible, Father Russ, to make this a campaign not about personality, but about ideas for the community and for our future. And we'll see how it goes. Every day.
That's really good, and I'm going to let you
get to work.
Get to party.
That's right. Thank you.
And thank you. And we're going to have you on live.
Oh, good. So we take some calls.
Yeah, we promised our audience and everything, and we've just. I had situations when we haven't been able to make it.
We were supposed to be on months ago, and then the snowstorm.
Well, tonight you were supposed to be on live too, but we're obviously we got to go. I got to go see Dan. I don't know.
Oh, I know. No, I do too.
We worked hard to get him in.
Yes.
And that's why.
And I supported him as well, and he has a tough situation right now, but he is trying to share the pain, I think, fairly. He's not doing it with bombast. We're not seeing the nuttiness that we're seeing out in Wisconsin. I think he's trying to approach the problem responsibly, and there's just no doubt that he's a really good friend of New London. And it's been a long time since we've had a governor who's really focused on New London.
He's a friend of my union, too. He's a
there you go. All right, good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. While everyone's here, I just wanted to say a brief thank you to everyone for coming. So that everyone can get back to the very, very good food and drink, which I know is far more important than listening to me talk. So I will be brief, but I would be remiss if I did not thank Candace and Bunny and Paul and the entire family for having us here at Deb's on Bank Street. Thank you very, very much. When Todd and I met several years ago, we would always come to this establishment. It was one of our favorite places. And I remember many a night that we'd come down and there'd be a light snow going on, and it'd be Candace and me and Todd at the end of the bar over there just talking about this great city that we all love so much. And it's so wonderful to have their support and to be here to support them and small businesses like this throughout our city. I also want to say a special word of thanks to Mr. Charles Cunningham for hosting tonight. Charles was good enough to contact our campaign and offer to help, and we're so glad to have his help. And to all the members of our supporters committee tonight for being willing to put your names behind this event. And I know that was not easy. Even though we are in the depths of winter, we can begin to see the heat starting to rise in this campaign. That is inevitable, and it is the course of politics. But what I am trying to do in this campaign is something that I hope reaches beyond the mere traditions of political campaigns. I am not trying merely to create another campaign that pushes another personality. I'm trying to create a movement in our community that supports a better long-term vision for our city's future, that provides the qualified, experienced leadership we need as a city to move forward in a positive direction. And that is why tonight, in this room, you will see people who are lifelong Republicans. You will see people who are lifelong Democrats. You will see people who are 5-generation deep native New Londoners. And you will find people who are recent immigrants to our city. There are independents. There are Greens. We're young. We're old. We represent our community, and we are here not because we agree on every issue, not because we all have the same party label, but because we all care about the future of New London and understand how critical of an election this is.